Hey everyone, I'm Matt Cremona.
And I'm Matthew Morse, and we're here at Milt's shop.
Right.
And,
Welcome.
And I'm not going to be in front of the camera for long, guys. I know you're going to miss me. Well, probably not, actually.
I will.
But I'm going to... What was that, Matt?
I'll miss you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I'm going to take my mic off. We're going to mic Milt, and he's going to take us around his shop. So let's get started.
Okay, welcome to my shop. Basically, we're by the door. My shop is a garage that's actually 18 feet wide, 26 feet long. And when I go out and buy materials, it comes through this door, and it starts here on the jointer. Primarily, what I do is initially I surface one surface, then put it against the fence so that I have one face and one edge ready to do something with, whatever the something's going to be. If for some reason I need to make thin sheets or whatever, then that material comes over to this large bandsaw and it would be ripped into whatever thicknesses that I'm going to need for whatever I'm going to be doing. This is a 6-inch joiner. This is a 20-inch bandsaw. 2 horsepower there, 1 horsepower here. Yes, you need that amount of power because I work primarily in hardwoods. My equipment is probably older than most of you who are watching this. The Davison Wells equipment is something that the gentleman that kind of got me started, that's the equipment that he had. And he told me that at minimum that's what I should have, so that's what I started buying when I bought the equipment. Once the boards are surfaced on one side and has one edge true and at 90 degrees, then I have a machine. A lot of my machines roll out. Back in the back corner, and you're not going to be able to see it because it's behind other machines, I have a 15-inch planer. And that allows me to surface the other side, so I have 2 parallel sides, and I work with finished material, say from 3/8 up to 20/4, depending on what I'm doing. So all of my machines are pretty heavy duty. Being that my shop is at my home, I run single phase 220 on all of my motors. I had 3-phase at one time, but here in Los Angeles they won't let you run 3-phase in a residence, so I had to convert backwards. So it all worked out for me. As we come further this direction, you'll notice that I've got a lot of stuff piled up here. We're at the end of the holiday season, so I've had so much going on in here that I just had to kind of pile stuff up and out of the way. But up on the surface here, let me turn the other way around here. You can see that I have an overarm saw here that I use when I'm making small pieces that I need to cut off all exactly the same length. I'll do a lot of that work there. Under this table, there are 2 smaller table saws, a 10-inch and an 8-inch. Those are smaller. I'm going to show you larger ones here in a little bit. But those were primarily used in another business that I was in before I got into cabinet making, furniture making, and tool making. I used to build high-performance model airplane kits for the radio control industry, and that's what those machines were used for. I still use them now for smaller things that I might be making, but they're sort of backing out of the way. A buffer rolls around. This is for the final finish on my wood products with this part of the buffing wheel. Over here I have a whole bunch of buffering wheels over here for different kinds of metal, steel, brass, copper, and aluminum. And so that's all done on this particular buffer. As we come further around, you'll notice here I have a press, and I use that for assembling things that need a lot of pressure to put them together, and also for stamping the company name on all of the products. Both metal and wood products are stamped there. If you look down this little line up here, you'll notice that I have a roll-around router table, jigsaw, and another, it's a 14-inch bandsaw back here. As I told you, behind that is the planer. This is one of my favorite tools. It's a horizontal router, and it's used like when I'm making parts for my clamps. All of these cutouts are made on this particular machine. So this one actually came from Germany. There are many magazine articles on how to make one of these for yourself with your router, with a made out of probably 3/4 inch multiply plywood. So that's a great tool. Everybody needs one of these, especially if you're doing loose tenon work, so that you don't have to sit there and pound it out by hand, and it makes just beautiful joints. Back behind some of this stuff here that is in the way, there's a 55-gallon drum. Okay, that's my sawdust machine. That's where it collects most of the stuff. I'm going to step out of the picture here, but you heard that? Okay, that takes all of the sawdust out from my sanding machines. My table saws are not connected to that. And it's just because I'm lazy and haven't made the chutes for it and everything. And I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy. At the end of the day, I kind of like sweeping my shop out. It's kind of silly, but that's what I do, because I know I'm done for the day once that's all out of here. Another reason was the space where my little bench is here used to be where my car sat. So I finally decided to get a cover for the car and put the car outside. So now I get to sweep and don't have to worry about being under the car. Anyway, let's move forward. I've got 2 table saws here, back to back. This one I use primarily for ripping. This one for cross-cutting. Okay. Here, these are 2 horsepower, 12-inch with carbide blades. This one has a combination blade, but I use it primarily for ripping. When that has an 80-tooth blade. This one has a 120-tooth cross-cutting blade. It makes the smoothest cuts you've ever seen cutting across various materials. The interesting thing is these blades come about 5/1000ths wider than 1/8 of an inch. A lot of the things that I make have to fit 1/8 inch steel parts into them. So I have special, this blade here is a special blade at actually 1/8 of an inch. So it gives me a nice, comfortable fit when I make grooves that I have to put metal pieces into. So we have that. In the surface of this table saw, I also have a vertical router, and all of my routers are 2 1/4 horsepower routers. When I say all of my routers, I have 5 of them that I use for different things that I'm doing. Some of them are hooked to jigs for making some of the parts that I make, but that one and this one are primarily used for furniture making. I run usually 1/2-inch bits, carbide bits. There are some patterns that are only available in 1/4 inch. I have a few of those, but when you get into the router business, after a while you have thousands of dollars worth of router bits. It just happens that way. Let's see what else. If you might notice on the wall here, almost all the way around, I've got clamps. You never have enough clamps. Underneath the table saw here, I have a caddy that has 40 clamps on it. And those are the Jorgensen metal clamps, and they vary from the 8-inch model all the way up to the 24-inch model. And I've had some projects where those weren't enough clamps to do what I was doing. But we all have that problem when you get busy working. In this corner here is all of my sanding equipment and my lathe. I have two 12-inch sanders. This one is mounted on this cabinet here. I have another one over there that's I can move around to do various things that I'm doing. I have a lathe here in the corner. All my lathe tools and stuff are in there. I have a 16-inch and 20-inch Apex sanders. These are very good tools. Good meaning they're very powerful. They're running 1.5 horsepower industrial motors, and you can grind up to your elbow before you know it's gone. These things are that powerful. But all in all, when you need to sand, say something that's a 4x4 on the end, okay, you need a sander that A, will not stop, and B, continuously brings fresh sandpaper to the job. And that's where a 20-inch disc has great advantage. Now, one of the things, if you can look more closely, you notice there's a lip here. I do a lot of what's called pattern sanding. In other words, I have some pattern and I put a piece of material in it, then I come up and the edge of the pattern runs against this lip here, and then I can just keep duplicating parts that way. When I need to use the sander without the lip, then I just put a board on, and now I can go straight up against the wheel without a pattern. So that's, if you notice, all of my sanders have some form of pattern rail for pattern sanding on it. Let's see, what else is around here that you might... Tools. Just all kinds of tools. It goes on forever. You never have enough tools. Okay? It just, that's the way this business is that you always need tools. This upper section here is all kinds of screws and fasteners. The lower section here are all of the accessory parts for my Tormac machine, which I use for all of my sharpening. Drill press. My compressor is in a closet on the outside in the entranceway to my home, and all the lines run through and out in here, and I have 80 foot of air hose here so that I can also work on my cars out in the driveway if I need to. Here in the shop is a cabinet where I keep a lot of parts. These are parts for like the bow saw and let's see, I've got all kinds of stuff. These are various waxes that I use on my products that I make. All sorts of materials for use with the buffer, design tools, measuring tools, calipers, all kinds of things for either designing or for working on the lathe to duplicate products. Let's push this back up in here. Whenever you open a drawer that has a lot of stuff in it, you always get something that doesn't want to go in. Down here in the bottom are some interesting things. For an example, this is a 1946 Stanley catalog. Okay, the reason that I keep this was the first woodworking book I ever bought. Okay, and it's just personal to me. Also a Stanley guide for the value of the antique tools, which I have a number of, so I can always keep track on those. European tools, Almia. They're the ones that started making these benches commercial. They were probably the first commercial benches from Germany, and then the English started copying that or working from that. As we come further this way, this is my brain trust here, my library. Without these books, I couldn't be who I am. I am an avid reader. I have a lot of the authors, I've met them, and we've talked a lot, and no, I'm not going to write a book. I don't have the talent or the time that they have, but I've got to tell you, you can learn so much from a book that goes into your brain, but you have to go into your shop and actually make it happen with the tools. Okay? That's important. You read something new, go and do it right away. And then it's imprinted in your head from that point on. Let's see what other things are around here. Oh, when you're doing very close work in a shop, you also need directional light, not just the general fluorescent light. So I have light on an arm right here at my vise for, you know, doing real close work here, or for sharpening, which I do on the end here. I cover that, and that's very important so that you can see exactly what you're doing. In this cabinet, fasteners. I don't know, can you see over the edge there? Oh, okay. Yeah, these are just, you know, containers of fasteners that I use. Down here on the floor, you can't see it. This is all of my wet stuff. You know, all of the acetone, WD-40, linseed oil, all of those things. By the way, we're in a garage, they're on a concrete floor. Okay? Be very careful in your shop with your chemistry. Okay, as we come over to this side of the shop, this door here actually goes into my home, but when it comes to tool storage, you can build any kind of storage thing that you want. My experience, a 36-inch, two-door steel cabinet with a lock on it is the greatest thing in the world. And I'll show you why. A, you can lock it, but all of my hand tools are in these two cabinets. As you can see, I've got a plain thing here, okay? All of these up here are antique, but they're daily users, okay? I have most of the original Stanley bedrock tools. Several of them I've purchased on eBay and various other places, and then spent a week making them what they're supposed to be. All of these that are down here in their socks are all Lee Nielsen tools. I have a reasonable supply of those. In here are all of the block planes. All the Lee Nielsen block planes. A tool that they've kind of taken out of production. This is probably my favorite plane of all planes. I use this for
number 9?
Everything on a shooting board, everything that I even finish top surfaces of tables with this. This is the most magnificent plane I've ever used. Okay, and I have, you know, their scraper plane and all of the pretty much all of their other planes, but the beauty, I think, in having high quality tools is that it makes you work at a high quality level, and that's very important to me, and it is the thing that allows me to have the level of customer that I do work for. Oh, by the way, all of these old Stanleys, I made new handles for them, all out of cherry. My hands are relatively large, so I've made larger handles, and it makes such a huge difference when the handles on your tools are custom to your hands. Okay, so that's an important thing for me. This is almost hand tool heaven here for me. I love hand tools. These are my chisels. These are some carving tools and various other instruments and things. This one is all hammers and screwdrivers and those kind of things. You'll learn as you build things that the older tools, like the cabinet maker's screwdriver, are very special tools because sometimes you need the power of being able to put a wrench on one of these to turn a screw, especially when you're working in hardwood. But be careful. Make certain that you buy top quality screws. Otherwise, these screwdrivers will just tear the screws off and you'll spend a lifetime trying to get what the remainders of the screws back out of the holes. That's an important thing. What else? Saws. All of these saws that you see here, except that one, that was a gift, but all of these I purchased from like the Goodwill store and various things like that, and they were very rusty and terrible. And each one of these saws took me perhaps 2 days to make them the way that they are. This is an Atkins. I bought this for $12. Okay? This saw's value is about $300 in the condition that it's in now. You notice I put a new handle on it. I put handles on a lot of things. I kind of enjoy doing that kind of work. This is a Diston rip saw. Notice the difference in the handle, a little finger notch in it. If you've never used a handsaw that's properly sharpened, you're missing a great joy in life. There are certain things that you can do with these handsaws that the finest table saw in the world just won't do. For an example, when you're building a bench and you have to make this cut here. This is one board here, okay? This cut here and this cut here, okay? You can't make it on the table saw. The other thing is, if you make it on the bandsaw, it's going to look like that. With the handsaw properly sharpened, you can do the same thing. You can cut as accurately as on a table saw. So that's what I use these tools for. These guys here, these are for actually making joints with pins that allows you to lock the materials together by offsetting the holes. And all you do is you push this in and it squeezes the wood together. Put the pin in and there you are. These are made from dowel register pins from Sears and Roebuck. Each of these, you buy them, they're about $12 for the whole set. Make a nice set of handles and put on them. They become beautiful tools. Let's see, what else would you be interested in terms of, oh, your lighting. You have to have overall lighting in your shop. It's got to be such that any place that you're working in your shop, you have adequate lighting to do what you need to do. In addition to that, as I told you about having the directional light, so that you can see the texture of the things that you're doing. Sometimes I will actually wear a hat with a miner's light on it so I can see what I'm doing when I'm doing real close work away from my bench, because sometimes I'll be building a piece of furniture in here that's so long. When I'm building large furniture in here, I move this bench out of the way and I end up with an 8-foot table that fits in here. If I'm working down on that end of the part or on this end down here, I'll actually wear a miner hat with a light on it so I can actually see what I'm doing. But these are things that, you know, solve problems. That's what all those sawhorses are for over there, by the way. I didn't mention them before, but I set a table that I have on that to make the table for building stuff. Oh, this is another thing important, a brush. Every time that you're using your hand tools and you make a cut, not each time, but when you're sort of halfway through each time, you want to get the shavings not only off of the bench, but off of the tool. You have to keep your tools clean so that they can do what they're supposed to do. And that's what this bench is for, or this brush is for. Let's see, one other thing I'd like to show you. Okay, I'd like to show you my toolbox. I built this for me, but it is now a product and has been a product that we manufacture. It has a shooting board on it. You can sit on this. You can eat your lunch on it when you're out on an install or building something outside. It has 3 areas in it. Down inside, it's got a full set of planes. It's got a saw, drill, marking gauge. But the important thing about it is, just with this amount of tools right here, if you go around whatever city you're in and you look at the most beautiful older homes, this is what they were built with. Not with table saws, not with band saws, whatever. With the stuff that's in this box. You need to be totally capable in using all of these tools so that you don't just work in your shop. When you're out on an installation or whatever, your client's going to ask you, oh, by the way, while you're here, can you fix this for me? Can you do that? So forth and so on. And I don't know what your hourly rate is, but isn't it worth being there 2 or 3 extra hours to make your hourly rate just fixing something? So that's what I do with this particular box, and I carry it around with me, pack my lunch in there, a thermos, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I don't know what else I can, oh, yes, this. For oily rags, they must go into a closed container when you're done with them, otherwise you'll lose your shop. Very important. As a matter of fact, I have 2 of these. One over there for clean rags, the other one for dirty rags. Because sometimes you're working so fast, you just have to get to a can, so I have one on each side of my shop. One other thing, I forgot this. This particular rollaway here includes all of my files. I have files for metal work, woodwork, and all of them are stored in this particular case. Now, files go on a soft base. Okay, you do not want the files rubbing against each other or rubbing against the bottom of your cabinet. So that's what I use this one for. And up here are, you know, extra little tools that are not locked away in case I have to come in here and do something real quick and have to go through all the unlocking and all that kind of thing. And these are lesser quality tools also. And tapes and batteries for your hand power tools and so forth and so on. Important for me in my shop, and I would assume for you too, you must have music. When you're working with hand tools, you can listen to your music while you're making stuff. So great radio, have a clock, okay? Because if you don't have a clock, you'll be in your shop and all of a sudden it'll be 2 in the morning and your whole family will be angry with you. So you need to be able to, you know, do things in a reasonable amount of time. And as you get better at what you're doing, it takes less time to accomplish what you're trying to do. So that's sort of the walk around here in my shop.
So Milt, thank you so much. That was an amazing tour. Thanks for sharing your whole shop with us.
Well, I'm very pleased that you invited me and that we've had this opportunity to talk. I know I probably talk more than a lot of people do, but that's just who I am. But thank you so much for being interested in allowing me the opportunity to show what I do.
Absolutely. It was fantastic. If you're looking for more information about Milt and his tools and what he does, we'll have links to his site and his email and his phone number down in the description for you as well. So again, I'm Matt Cremona. You can find me over at mattcremona.com. My co-host on the other side of that camera, you can't see right now, that's Matthew Morris. He's over at mmwoodstudio.com. And as always, please subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, leave us a comment, hit that like button, and we'll see you next time.